Hi there, and welcome to the Two Dudes Talk Tattoos podcast. A podcast about tattooing so great it'll tear the pants right off your hind end. I'm one of your hosts for this show. My name is Ryan Othis. You can find me online at bettertattooing.com, the YouTube channel of Better Tattooing, and on Instagram at RIAN_OTHUS. My co-host for this show is Brian Matthew. You can find him online at the Scarlet Veil Tattoo Parlor, a Tailored Fit Tattoo Gallery, or Brian Matthew Illustrations, or Brian Matthew Tattoos on Instagram. Our guest on the show today is Tony Farra Tattoos. Mr. Tony Farra. You can find him online on Instagram. It's TonyFarra Tattoos. Or you can even send him an email if you want to have a discussion with him. I think that'll be all right. It's TonyFarraTattoos@gmail.com. He's from Long Beach, California, and he's going to be our guest today. He sent me an email, DM, private message, direct post on my photo that I put up on Instagram just a couple days ago. And when he sent it, I was like, hey, I think you should be on the show. So now I considered it a critique right off the hop. And I don't know if many other people would do that as well, considering it's online and the propensity of the human psyche to just get crazy and angry and, trying to put people down or do something or whatever is so great that the knee-jerk reaction was like, hey, why is this guy saying this stuff? And after a brief, pause, I sat there and thought to myself, like, hey, what's going on with this? I thought, this is a critique, Ryan. This is someone telling you that they think that you could have done better. And he gave reasons why. And it came down to, boy howdy, if you would have spent more time on this tattoo, it could have been amazing. But you didn't, and you robbed your client of that, chance for something better. Now, the joke is with all this stuff that I'm usually pretty efficient with most of my tattoos. And the shop, sorry, I just bit my tongue a little bit. Let me grab a drink of coffee here. The shop was having a big laugh about it because it's like, oh, I did this super quick, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't a 7-minute tattoo, but Tony wouldn't know, of course, right? He wasn't there in the shop and seeing all this stuff. And I don't use social media as a way to try and influence people or gain work even. I just put it up there just as a place for me to keep track of photos I think are neat, or even to put it up there so that clientele that I work with can share it on their whatever their page. I don't know what the hell it's called anymore. Anyways, so I direct messaged Tony right after he said this statement. We had our short exchange, and I invited him on the show. I said, "Hey, why not? Just come on here. If you have something that you think is going to be is going to benefit people, is going to be able to help people get better. I mean, please, we need to get this out here, and we need to discuss it." So today's show is about, well, the critique, why it's important, and I think going into this, if you know that. Honestly, I was not upset, nor was Tony, nor was anyone. And it was just great to sit down and talk with someone who was willing to give an opinion. And I think the biggest thing is that when he gave his opinion and he knew it had been heard, it changes the dynamic of that, right? So if you're out there, you're a tattooer, you're not a tattooer, you're living your life, and somebody goes onto your page and they're just fucking mean, well, just tell them to get bent. But if somebody does come up to you and they say, hey, XYZ, maybe you could do better if you thought about something like this, listen to them. Try it out. What's the worst that could happen if you try it? That you get better at something? I mean, really, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing out here in the world? Just trying to, improve ourselves, get better, live a happy, fulfilled life, however that is, chase your bliss, whatever type of stupid mug statement that we got, live, love, laugh, So anyways, That's my intro for the show. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll talk to you again soon. If you like what we do, please give us a follow, subscribe, like, any of those things, even a rating or review on the podcast platform of your choice that you choose to listen to us on. And also be sure to tell your friends. We really, really, really enjoy all the support we've had so far, and we'd like to keep it going. So thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the show. Over the past year, I've been working on the philosophy of tattooing in the Western world, like this kind of dynamic approach to understanding and interpreting philosophy from the inside. Because everyone who's been
Okay.
writing about it has been fucking academics outside going, I got a tattoo. I want to write a book about it. And it's been fucking weird, right? So a lot of the stuff I was reading that had come about from like there's like a gap. There's like 70s and the 90s, and there's a couple books in the early 2000s, and then like there's been fucking nothing past that, right? Um,
Right.
People have been um, misidentifying, I think, like the application of tattooing from the tattooer's perspective, because a lot of it is just like, oh, it's art, oh, it's this, so it's that, and I've had contrary uh, theories or philosophies attached to like various artists. I've traveled quite a bit over 20 years, and I never seen it as just so cut and dry. Like I see the media doing that, like the TV shows and the fucking,
Hmm.
all that stuff. Everything is always just like, this is how you fucking do it. And it never made sense to me, right? So
Right.
the big chapter I just got done getting all the data for was removing bias from a tattooer's perspective. Right. So when I'm going
Okay.
to create a tattoo, I'm not trying to be an artist. I'm not trying to be a tattooer. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm doing exactly what this person sees in their head to a T.
Yeah, I think that's what all good
Um,
tattoo artists are ultimately trying to accomplish, right? Like
mhm.
you are the superpower, but behind a tattoo, what makes a really good tattoo artist and what makes an indecent tattoo artist, I think, is the ability to read people's minds, basically. So when
Mhm.
I remember when I first started out, uh, I would miss it sometimes, and my clients would be like, "Hey, this isn't what I thought," and that hurt so bad
Oh yeah.
because I thought I had it. I
Yeah.
thought I had exactly what they wanted, but I
Yeah.
didn't. But over the years, you get so good at it that somebody can go, "Hey, I was kind of thinking of, a flower with a rose and then like in some kind of glass case." And then you go, "Hey, I got it. Don't even
Yeah.
say anything more. I already know." And I think that's kind of like what we all strive to do. That's what I strive to do, anyways. I try to get in people's minds and I want to put on their skin what they had in their head. That's so funny. Me and my wife were just talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of people doing that nowadays, but there's always like, because we become stylized, it's kind of like fast fashion, in my opinion, with tattooing now. Like you scroll through Instagram or social media and you find something that you like, and you're like, I want that. It's like going shopping at the mall. You walk around aimlessly and say, oh, I like that shirt. I'll fucking buy it. You wear it once and you throw it away. And I've been forcing the people, if they want to work with me, in essence, to really dig deep and understand not only why I'm doing what I'm doing, so using the science stuff behind it, right? Like I think that this will work with this because of your genetics, your background, your history, your lifestyle, etc. But then also like trying to really create a more I guess a greater utility in the actual design when they're going through it, because rather than just seeing something they think is hot, HAWT, right?
Yeah.
I wanted them to like, yeah, I wanted them to be like, this is really good, right? And
Yeah.
then take that empathy of the design and then have them actually create everything with me. So like when I go down to do the artwork and stuff, we'll actually do it together.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and we do all the drawings. So they're like literally, I'm just like totally removing myself and everything I do. That's why.
You're basically letting them use you as a tool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's very creative. That's very creative. That takes, yeah, that's so much different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my only concern with that is, man, not a lot of people have the time. That would be the thing. So they would have to be very dedicated to go through that process with you, which, I mean, if you're going to spend some time with somebody, why not then be dedicated to what you're doing? That's ultimately going to make a greater outcome. That's very brilliant, man. I like that.
Yeah, it's different, dude. It's difficult too, because like you'll have some people who are just like, well, I just want this. I'm like, well, this is kind of how I do stuff, and they'll be like, you're fucking stupid. I don't want to do that. I'm like, all right, well, that's cool, So
That's
like,
it.
before we do the like an actual consultation, we'll do a meet and greet. We'll just talk, see if
Mhm.
we get along, and let them know they can ask questions, do whatever.
I
And
do
if
the
it,
same thing.
yeah, if it gels, then you're like, cool, all right, then let's work together, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's weird because if I have people who have maybe three, four, five, less than 10 tattoos for sure, they're really wanting to understand more of what they're doing to their body. But once they
Yes.
get past like that 10 mark, they're just like, fuck it, I need to fill space.
Yeah.
So then you kind of be like, for a year, all I did was those really in-depth ones. And it was weird because and you've probably seen this. How long have you been tattooing?
I've been
14?
tattooing 14 years now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've seen this too, right? Like as you start building a clientele, regardless of where you're at, you start to attract those like people, where you start to
Yes.
pull in just that stuff, right? So I'm getting initially I
I
was
call
getting
them common denominators.
yeah, I like that,
Those are my
dude.
common
Fucking
denominators.
TM. Yeah, I like that, dude.
Mhm.
I started to see is like when word got out that I was doing something different, I started pulling in people that were seeking something more, right? And a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just this religious or spiritual thing or whatever." But I started getting people who are like dealing with shit, like
Mm,
heavy stuff, right? Like people are like, "Well, I was sexually assaulted the last time I got a tattoo, and I want to try to work through it." And you're like, "What?"
that's heavy shit.
So like, people started to hear this, and they're coming through the woodwork. And like after about a year of this, like recently, I guess last month, I was like, I got to stop because it was just like too
It was
much.
it was weighing down on you, huh?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now we have like I'm going back to just like straight walk-in and also doing this. I have the plethora of ways that we try to approach it. Just
Again, you got to balance it out. You got to balance it out. If I'm hanging around with too many people, especially, in the studio, if I have clients that are just depressed and down on themselves all the time, like, those breakup tattoos
yeah,
where,
dude. It's
where the
heavy.
girl will go dye her hair and then come and get a new tattoo because she just broke up and they're just so full of negativity. Being around that a lot, man, it can change you. It can really have an effect on you.
Yeah.
And it's like being a therapist, hearing everybody's problems all the time.
Yeah, that's one of the like when you first start tattooing, you grew up in it, but like a lot of us who got into it, with no background or whatever, when they get into it, you always think it's gonna be I'm tattooing rock stars and strippers and I'm gonna be fucking, you know what I mean? And that's not how this shit goes, man.
That's not how it goes.
No, you got to be a business
Give
owner, a
me your
social media
weak.
manager.
Give me your unstable.
Yeah. Oh, here's the big man himself. His internet is going to be shit while he's here too.
Nah, it's okay.
Hi, Brian.
Damn, you guys got started early, huh?
Yeah, he popped on early. I was making a video.
We were just shooting the shit, man.
Yeah.
How you doing?
What's going on? Look, we almost have matching outfits on.
Hey.
I was gonna wear a gray
yeah.
hat too.
I get the fucking woodsman out in the garage. It's 41 degrees here. So
Yeah, are you bear hunting or did you just get done working on your Oldsmobile? I don't understand.
Nice.
I'm just messing with you.
No, it's good. I wrote to Brian earlier. I'm like, this dude just fucking. So I'm gonna read it here, and we can, I guess, maybe get back to what we were saying too. I put up a tattoo on Instagram. It's a horrible picture, and Tony, our guest today. You want to do a plug here before I get to your fucking comments?
Oh, hi, I'm Tony. If you would like to see my work or any of my art, please look up at Tony Farra Tattoos on Instagram or Facebook. That's it, man.
Okay, cool. So Tony wrote in on the Instagram. He says, really looking at this picture, though it's blurry, man, this work is not up to your usual standards. I think taking your time is the way to go. No need to rush. As a piece of flash, that's kind of the joke. And he said, right. Welp, unfortunately, joke's on you. Poor tattoo from someone so intelligent. Disappointing, dude. I told my wife that, and she was like, oh my God.
Does she hate me now? Does she hate me? Because my wife does that too. She will attack somebody else if they critique me at all.
No, she was great. She's like, man, he fucking burned you. How do you feel? I'm like, it was a little ouchy for a second. I think I want to have him on the show. She goes, oh my God, you should do that. So like text Brian. I'm like, Brian, he's like, you have such bad pictures. Brian's just like, that's the fucking theme of your Instagram.
It's true though.
That picture's
I really just want to spend the day with you and show you how to use your phone.
Yeah. He's got a phone that has 1080p and everything on it, and he takes his pictures while he's walking or something.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man, but I think the whole thing that I was trying to get across, and I didn't mean to be an asshole or anything like that.
An asshole. That's going to be the topic today, right? I want to talk about fucking critiques.
Okay.
I think it's important because in this industry, especially right now, I've said it a bunch of times on the show. I asked Brian to give me a critique, and he fucking just gutted me. It was hilarious. I fucking loved it. Right?
I like that.
Yeah. And this is something that's missing a lot. I see a lot of isolation, like small cliques. People are going and opening up private studios before they really have a ton of experience. And if you say something about their tattoos, they fucking break down, right?
They block you. They do all kinds of stuff.
And realistically, over social media, it's really difficult to get someone's full opinion. And we got so many characters to write, and it's like, fuck, I'm not this invested in letting you know what I fucking think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just bring you on. Bring you on. Give us your explanation.
My thing was, and here's what got me about you.
Yeah.
I listen to your guys' podcast. I'm an avid listener. And you two
That's your first fuck up.
You two are so smart, so cerebral. I've never heard anybody let alone two people, so cerebral about the approach. So I had not seen your work for a few, like maybe 2 months while listening to the podcast. Had no idea what you had done, but I knew that you knew all the knowledge. Yep. I could hear it. I was like, this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's going through, you guys are going through all the stuff and more that I didn't even know, you know? And of course, no one's ever going to know everything, but I was genuinely surprised about your guys' knowledge. And then one day I was just sitting at home, had a little bit of free time, and I started looking up your work, and I was like, man, he's pretty good. And then that last picture, I know your pictures aren't perfect, and I can see past that because I've done it. I know my pictures suck too. I bought a DSLR.
You don't have to qualify it, dude. Fucking run this into the ground. You're good. I can take it.
And I just noticed your caption. You forgot to mention what the caption was. What was the caption on your picture?
Piece of flash. Did this in 7 minutes.
Did this in 7 minutes. That was what got me. Yeah. And I thought, now, was that true or was that just a joke?
Oh, it's an inside joke at the shop. It was not true.
Oh, okay. So to me, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you really did just whip that out in like 7 minutes and we're bragging about it. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, take your time, slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as far as critiquing goes, I mean, you have to be willing to accept your faults in order to get better. Yeah. These days in social media, the algorithms have got us so comfortable with just seeing what we want to hear and see. That's it. They cater to us so much that when somebody says something that we don't like, we throw a fit like a little fucking baby. And I fucking can't stand that. Get on my page. Tell me all the shit I did wrong. I know I fucking suck. No one's gonna, critique my stuff more than me. So bring it all on. I shake lines, unsaturated, you know what I mean? The black looks patchy. I get it. But with the right mindset, all that critique's just going to make your tattoos better in the future. All right, I got to fix this shit. Work on it. Now it's time to go to work, you know? Yeah. And man, I was hoping that you didn't take it like I was being an asshole. Like, man, you're so good. Like, take some time. Do better. Totally. You got it.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about just before Brian had hopped on, right? When you're getting into something and somebody brings in a design, and I guess to preface it with like how I was saying, like how I've been doing stuff originally versus like the past year. When someone brought in something to me, I'll check with them. I'm like, do you want any changes to this? And they're like, no, exactly this. So things to know, it was the dude's first tattoo.
Okay.
Inner arm, he's a bit overweight. There's a lot of swelling that was going on with that stuff.
A lot of stretching.
Yeah, he sat like a friggin' champ, right? But as soon as we stopped, I gave him a wash down with some soap, and his skin went. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. He was excited. He was jumping. He was happy. He was doing all this stuff. I snapped a picture. Everyone's like, it looks like a good tattoo. I didn't even look at the picture when I posted it. And I was just like, because I can
tell.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. And I put it up there, but it was fucking cool, right? Because like I know what the tattoo looks like.
Isn't it weird? Like how to translate what it looks like in real life versus taking a fucking picture.
Yeah, and it's not the same. People do videos, they use the filters, the fucking lights, all this other stuff, you know. And Brian and I don't do that. We're just like, fuck, let the chips fall where they may, you know. And you have critiques on stuff, and I know like we send tattoos back and forth constantly, and if something's not right, we're pretty quick to tell each other like, I don't think that was fucking good. Like, ooh.
you guys are actual friends then. That's some real friend shit right there.
Yeah, I'll send stuff to Brian and I'm like, it's always just like, well, here we go.
Let me have it.
7th layer of hell. Let's just take a stroll right through this stuff, because he'll let you know right off the hop. And it's great because having somebody who is honest with you, that you trust what they say and how they look at it. And, you know, it's unfiltered. He doesn't, like, when I get critiques from Brian, he doesn't look at it from his perspective as to what he would have done. He looks at just technically. That looks wrong. That looks wrong. That looks wrong. Fix that. No, okay, yeah, that makes sense, you know. And there's only been one time with Brian where I'm like, hey, you missed a fucking line. He's like, whoops.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man.
It was some silly, it was like way back in the background. I don't know why. It's just like the very first second my eyes had locked onto that. It was the first thing I seen. I was like, bup, bup, bup. He just like, fix it next time, you know. that goes down to this. I think that the industry, just like you said, it's we don't know how to take criticism.
Yeah.
And when you wrote what you wrote, I knew exactly where you're coming from, right? And I was like, it's fucking honest. I didn't think you were just pulling and being a dick and just being like, oh, I'm
Thank
better
you. And
than
it's
you.
like,
No.
dude, I felt like an asshole as soon as you DM'd me. I was like, ah, shit. Like right when I saw the DM pop up, I was like, fuck me, dude. I never open my mouth, and the one time I do, god damn it. But luckily, dude, you were so nice and
thanks, man.
willing to talk about it, and that's awesome. That shows what kind of character that you have.
Oh, thanks, man. No, I think it's something that we need to do, and this is something I've noticed in piercers. Like piercers. I'm not drinking today, Brian, at all. I'm fucking sober. So
Nice.
with piercers, when you do a piercing and you put it up online, you're APP certified or not or whatever, right? If something's off, a piercer would be like, that's fucking off by 0.03 mil. And they're not saying it, like they are kind of being dicks most of the time when they're doing it, but there's like this collective understanding where people are just like, no, it needs to be fucking perfect, right? And they push and they push and they push and they push. And I don't see that in tattooing at all.
We need it though.
Yeah, you go into a shop,
I mean, apples and oranges.
You go into a shop, there's 5 tattooers who all been tattooing less than 5 years, and they're all working, and everything that they say is, that's great.
Yeah, they just kind of kiss ass because, yeah. Well, you know what I've noticed too, in my experience, I have a couple of friends that aren't tattoo artists. I have one friend that's a graffiti artist and another friend that's a code programmer, and they give me some of the best critiques that I've ever had. So I don't even turn to tattoo artists that much anymore. I turn to people in other fields, specifically the graffiti artist. His name's Ryan, and he'll look at something, and he's not a tattoo artist at all, has no interest. He has a few, but not heavily tattooed. And he can tell me right where I fucked up every time without fail, just like Brian does for you. But man, I get nervous sending him shit because he really roasts the shit out of me. I gotta like have a good day going.
Tattoo artists are like a large collective of individuals all wearing mom goggles. So like no matter what you show them, they're just like, oh, that's fucking sweet, dude. It's like, no.
Let's put it on the fridge.
Like, thank you for letting me know you're lying, I guess. Like, it doesn't help any certain scenario. And now, because of like this bizarre PC thing that's killing everyone's soul, no one's allowed to critique anyone, and it's fucking troublesome. And it's realistically an issue because that's where setbacks are happening. If you could just walk into any random shop and be like, your work looks like shit, fix it. And then they'd just be cool with it. Yeah. Right? Like imagine that scenario. Tattoo shops would be so much fucking better. It's just, it irks me. I can't stand it.
That's so funny. Yeah. And I don't know why. It's like we always have to qualify stuff as tattooers. I think because we don't really know what we're doing until way later on, right?
I don't give a fuck about the rest of the human population. I'm just specifically talking about tattoo artists. So don't take that too far. But in a tattoo shop, there's a real need and desire for critique and just overall growth, So you can't just pigeonhole yourself into a corner where you're not allowed to talk about how fucked up the shit you're doing is. Otherwise, you're never going to expand.
Yeah, everybody wants their work critiqued, but no one wants to give it. And that's why we're all just sitting here stagnant, doing the same shit. Yeah. I mean, my friends have critiqued my stuff and helped me get out of slumps. I mean, I've been in slumps where, you just start doing Pinterest shit over and over. And
I love that stuff.
You just keep doing the same things over and over. And I got into a slump. And then somebody was like, critiquing. I was like, hey, what do you think about this tattoo? And they're like, dude, you're coasting. What are you doing? You're just coasting through your career. You're not pushing yourself. You're just doing the same shit everybody else is doing. And I needed to hear that. I needed that critique. Fuck, dude, it hurt. And at the time I was kind of pissed, but in the end, and I was laying down that night, I was thinking, I do need to do something else. I need to change. And ultimately, those types of changes, when you catch yourself like that, propel you into doing better work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally got you. All of us, I think, have had a relative eye opener from someone either externally or in Brian's case, just from himself, right? Where you're just like, this shit sucks. And that's like that spot where when you hit those roadblocks is usually like that point of growth, right? You've plateaued long enough, something stepping in to fucking make you jump up, right? And if you're hitting that every fucking day with a critique or doing something else, it can cause you to just grow so quickly. That's why some of these younger guys who are coming in and have been tattooing like 3 years are just so fucking good, man. Like in Vancouver, Victoria, right? Just like everyone up there is just A+. The mom goggles have come off, and they're like literally, I think, just trying to kill each other because their work is so fucking good all the time.
Have you seen the guys in Bali?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, those guys in Bali that are doing like back pieces in a day. That's all they do. Full sleeves in a day. I mean, a lot of those guys are kind of doing the same designs over and over, just throwing it in different ways. But man, those guys in Bali, I mean, with zero to little training, I've seen a couple of guys from out there with 1 year of experience, and their shit looks like a 15-year guy out here.
Yeah.
And man, it's incredible. It's incredible. I think once they've been tattooing with crappy machines for so long out there that they're finally starting to get good equipment sent out there. Or I think the equipment has made a big issue because ever since they got those rotary machines, their levels have just stepped up out there. It's pretty crazy to see.
Yeah, I think that I could see a diminishing return, just like a devil's advocate stuff on this for the machine usage and stuff with them, because there's people who do phenomenal work without machines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And we've talked about it before. That's kind of like the industry and the tools that we use inside of it have become almost a scapegoat for people who just don't do good. You know what I mean? And it's funny because it's like we all hear this all the time, right? If you do X, that change your machine, change your needles, change your pigment, you'll get better. And that totally that's like a step aside. That's totally pulls into this critique stuff too, because you're moving it aside and you're placing the blame is somewhere that's so opaque. Like they started changing all the labels. I don't know if you've seen this or not on the pigment bottles in the United States now. We're just this proprietary formula.
Yep.
They won't let you know actually what's in stuff or any of the stuff they're trying to,
Good luck finding out.
Yeah. Luckily, we know a few people doing some testing. So
I know I heard that podcast. That was so awesome.
Yeah. So when you start removing all this stuff and you create more opaqueness, I've been trying to get this one guy on, Matt Johnson. He's a PhD. He studies the effects of consumerism and advertising on the brain. And it's pretty cool stuff. He wrote a couple books. I don't remember the names off the top of my head, but it's interesting reads if you're into that sort of stuff.
I have read some of that sort of stuff. You know who was a master at that kind of stuff was Sam Walton. I was just reading about Sam Walton and how he used to put tires in his office and for when people came to make deals. And the reason he did the tires was so that they would be uncomfortable and want to make a deal fast and get out.
Yeah, it's just smart, right? Psychology stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea with the brands, especially nowadays, is that they create a space to where they can put someone fancy on the label. And I know a bunch of dudes who are sponsored who don't even use the fucking products. They don't give a shit, right? Yeah. And they say, if you use this, then you can tattoo like this. It's like if you buy Air Jordans, you can play in the NBA. Which, if you don't know how to play basketball, you're fucked, right? It's like if you give a pair of high heels to LeBron, he's still going to fucking slay. Yeah. So there's always like the weird coming back.
It would be much hotter though, but he would still
see those calves. Fuck. But I think like I guess I could see it like at a point where if they're using the fucking $5 cam machines or something, right? They're trying to do something. They're shorting out and everything is just inconsistent. The needles are just poor quality and carriers and everything else is just lower grade. As soon as they start getting those better things, it should help them improve, right? But to a point with some of the stuff that they're doing is at times it's unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they get to that point, there has to be some type of foundational knowledge, I think, in my opinion, right? That would get them to that spot. I think if we were to take them then and give them their old machines back now, that they'd still be able to replicate it.
So I can speak from experience about exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I started tattooing in prison.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I don't look like that guy, but I was that guy. I did 7 years here in California, 3 different state penitentiaries. And when I started off, I started drawing. I was not artistic as a kid. When I was growing up in the tattoo shop, Shadows Tattoos out in Kansas, couldn't draw. I swept the floors, man. I cleaned the tubes. I did all that stuff,
Yeah.
And when I went to prison for getting into a fight. I got into one fight. Guy went to the hospital. I was in Victorville, and I ended up getting 7 years.
No shit.
Bad deal, dude. Got railroaded. No money for a lawyer. They kind of screwed me out. So I started drawing Mickey Mouse like cards for ramen noodles. And, same old story. Went to prison. My first tattoo was actually pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy story. It was a skinhead leader in prison named Haas. This guy looked like Butterbean. You remember Butterbean, the boxer?
Yeah.
He looked like that guy. So I get into the prison, and we're in a gym that has like 300 3-level bunk beds inside of it. There's actual basketball goals there. And there's like a podium up front where the cops sit. And it looks like a swap meet of prisoners. It looks horrible. It smells horrible. And I'm drawing one day, and this guy Haas comes up to me and goes, "Hey, newbie, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing all right, And he goes, "Hey, I heard you're a pretty good artist. Can you draw this bull that I grew up with?" I said, "Bull? You grew up with a bull?" That's how big this motherfucker was. So I said, "All right." And I had just got into doing like pencil portrait work.
Oh.
So it took me about a week to finish this bull. I get it done and I hand it to him, and he's so excited. He's elated. He's like, "Man, this looks so good. It looks just like him. Do you know how to tattoo that?" And I said, "No, sir. No, I've never touched a machine. I've never done any of that." He goes, "Well, you're going to do it tonight. You can draw it that good. You can tattoo it." And I said, no, please don't do this to me. I don't want to. I can't. I don't know what I'm doing." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to get you this stuff, and we're going to do it tonight." I couldn't say no. This guy was like way up there. I'm going to die. I'm new, dude. I've only been here for like a week. So he gets a machine. It's made out of a CD player motor. There's like a highlighter with a big pen going through it. He's using an E guitar string. We got it hooked up to some battery pack that's in a sweatband. And we start tattooing at 2 a.m. with a headlamp on in the dark and everything while everybody else is asleep. 4 hours later, I get done with that tattoo. And he goes to the bathroom, and I can't tell if he's happy or mad. And I hear him yelling because he's in there washing it off. And he's starting to wake everybody up. And I'm thinking, oh no, if I do something that wakes everybody up in this jail, in this prison, I'm fucked. I'm going to be the least popular person ever. He's walking towards me. And you know how like big people kind of walk leaning forward? He's walking like that real fast, closer and closer. And I think, well, if I hit him first, I'm not going to survive. But if I can just take one hit from him and I survive, and then I hit him once, I'll get some respect. He gets closer and closer, and he wraps his arm around me and he gives me a bear hug.
Oh, that's nice.
And I said, "Thank fucking God." And I tattooed like that for the rest of my 7 years in prison. In fact, I still have my date book with all my appointments and everything.
Oh, shit.
And then I got out and I learned how to use a real machine. I went through an apprenticeship in Whittier, California. I think that if you gave me back a prison tattoo machine, I could still kill it because that drawing foundation was there. If I didn't draw all those times for food, to live, basically, if I didn't draw, then the tattooing, I would be a shit tattooer now, even with the best machines. It wouldn't matter. And I think that goes to what you're saying, as long as that foundation is there, you can kill it with a stick and poke,
dude. That's a good story. I don't have any stories like that.
I know. I have quite a few, actually. It's been a long trip for me, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long, strange trip, but it's definitely worth it in the end to do what I love to do. I honestly love to I've been chasing that hug that he gave me. I have been chasing for 14 years. I want that hug every time. And I know I'm doing a good job if I can get that hug.
Yeah, that's cool, man. What do you think of the story, Brian? You're awfully quiet.
It's pretty funny. I was just wondering if my shit was gonna cut out or whatever again. I'm having really shit weather, so I have shit internet.
That's okay, man.
That's fucking fantastic.
Perks of living out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Brian, the house is looking great, dude. Cassie posted that picture of the outside of it. It looks fucking phenomenal, dude.
Oh yeah. I the outside of the house got finished up like I don't know 5 months
I
ago,
think you
something
sent me a
like that.
picture when you just finished the painting and stuff. It's all settled. It just looks tidy, dude. Yard looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fucking nice, dude. Took that old beat up piece of shit and made her shine. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's just the inside. It's rough.
That's fucking cool. Well, last week I've been getting super drunk on the show. I figured I was actually going to try to do one sober. But we started answering
Hey,
questions. I know, dude. I haven't had a drop alcohol in like 4 days. Can you fucking believe that shit? I'm like betraying my Irish heritage here. Um, but we had started doing the question from that guy, and I didn't hit record because I'm a fucking idiot. And I was wondering, do you want to pile through that again? We have
might as well. I can't fucking remember it. So
we'll approach it good here. Tony, do you want to try to do a listener question with us?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you guys got.
Cool.
I'm down.
Do this question, then we'll fucking cut for commercial and have a little chat. So,
Okay.
I'll send the pictures. I'll share screen here in a second. But I'm just going to read out the email that we got. It's kind of a long one, so I'll condense it down. Big fan of the show, says Mike Scott. I've been in an apprenticeship under an old school guy. It's been difficult getting any straight answers on basically everything, it seems. I feel bad because I'm expecting a certain amount of skill/knowledge to learn from him, and I find myself looking online for answers. On to my question. I've been tattooing my leg for a while now. It's almost completely out of space. Been approaching it, blah, 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 blah. Major issues I'm running into now is color packing because he's comfortable with his line work, evidently. I can't figure out if it's getting overworked, if I'm having a reaction to the pigment, or if I've given myself an infection or any combination of those above. He's been fucking around with his power. He uses some British coil. Remember, we looked those up. They're like 1,000-pound British coil. That's
right.
fancy.
Fancy.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. He sent some pictures. He's like, the color just looks like shit. How do I fix it? So I will pull up a couple of the pictures here.
Tattoo better.
I guess we solved it. It's all done. Here is our tattoos. So we've got one here. It's a bird. Evidently, it's on the leg. Pearlescent white skin. You can see how that's healing up. And then here is a beveled star. We'll put these photos up on the podcast so we can have it up there too.
Whew.
So,
You know what I don't understand about the star? What are these black chunks in the lime green? What happened there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I know how you fucked the rest up, but how did you get this black in the lime green?
Yeah. It looks to me like is a berry and flick, right? If we're looking at that outside the top right-hand line, you can see the line, like it's a liner. It looks like it's being used, same grouping on the outside there. And you can see it hitting and flicking out. And I think he tried to flick at the tip and maybe skipped in.
It looks like he used the same. It looks like he used the same needle for the whole tattoo. Yeah, and he is just. I mean, right here at the bottom left, I can see he really dug himself a trench right there.
Yeah, same with that top center. The whole thing is just gory.
Yeah. There's like a big black dot at the top center too. Is that what you were talking about? That black?
Yeah, it's just random ass black right in the lime green.
It looked like he dropped the machine on himself right there.
You can see a flick. You can see the angle of it starting to turn as it comes around, right? So if this is looking down, the camera isn't backwards, right or left-handed. He's flicking down. He hasn't repositioned his wrist, and when he got up to the top, he ended up trying to flick into the tip, right? You can see a skip over.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that's bad. So in a fundamental way.
Yeah. It looks like a combination of overworking, going too fast, and maybe hanging your needle out a little bit too far and just chewing up that skin.
That looks like it's a bit
and
far,
not
right?
paying attention. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I did it too, and I don't even understand how I did it. How you just leave gaps and not saturate them. I don't know how. When I started tattooing, I didn't understand saturation, but now that I do, I constantly ask myself, how did I miss that? And it looks like this guy kind of. I wonder what he was looking at. What his reference image was.
I don't think there was anything. He was probably just trying to do a beveled star and didn't actually know how to do it, right? And I think that things like this, and I see people trying to do saturation, it looks like there's many different techniques that were used throughout, and it's just learning. Now, there is one thing that I forgot to read here, and this is something that Brian and I had talked about before, is this bottom paragraph here. I'm no kitchen wizard. The practice is done in an environment as close as possible to a shop. So we can see that this is probably, even though I'm having an old school apprenticeship, but maybe it's just out of the basement. We don't know. There may not be.
It just reads as, I'm not tattooing in a kitchen. I'm tattooing in a living room.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was just going to say that. He moved it from the kitchen to the living room.
So and we were talking about critiques. I thought this actually all kind of worked out well. So now we pulled the piss, right? Like this guy, like you don't know what you're fucking doing, but you're asking for help. First off, the tattoo is shit. We've got to say it. Like there's no argument about this. If somebody came in and paid for this, they would walk back in wanting it fixed after all the scar tissue had hopefully subsided.
I have seen homeless people outside of a truck stop tattoo better than this.
Do we need to just have you come on and burn people? Fuck. That's two good ones in one day.
This right here is complete trash.
Oh golly. So let's say if we were to give actual actionable stuff that this person could try to do, let's just run down the list. Brian, what's your first?
Well, I remember when we first got the email or looked at it, we then looked up the machines, and the machine that he's buying is a liner shader combo coil machine.
That's right.
A typical beginner first
pointless
mistake.
So chances are his machine's obviously running too fast. So go buy a color packing machine that'll run at around 90 cycles per second instead of your 110 to 120 cycle per second machine that you're using right now. So it'll slow down the machine for you. Like that's just easiest first step to make.
Not voltage. I've seen a lot of people saying when I'm talking about throw, I know a lot of people actually don't understand what I'm talking about. They're thinking about, like, if you're using a rotary, they're doing like, cam throw, not actual like needle throw out of the end of the tube. They're like, oh, I got like 2.4 throw on this. And they're like, whoa, you need to use a 4 mil machine at all. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it's different. Think about speed, depth, all these things are very specific. So yeah, not voltage, but actual speed of the machine.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Tony, what do you think? You give me one here.
Honestly, I mean, how to fix this tattoo? Is that what you're asking?
No, just if you were to give, let's say this person's
if I
your
were
apprentice.
to give him,
he's your apprentice.
Okay, this is my homie, and I'm giving him some critique here.
Yeah.
Build. Learn how to build. Instead of trying to, and this is a way that I learned too. I had a lot of trouble with lining and packing at the beginning. And I wanted to just pound the ink in like I saw my colleagues do and like I saw online, and just you get that whole black triangle in one shot. I loved that. That's what I aspired, but I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't, I was still new. And it looks like, that's kind of what he was doing. He saw something online. I don't know, or maybe his mentor.
Air quote.
Mentor, did it in front of him, and he goes, oh, I can do that too, and just didn't have all the knowledge. I would tell him to build. Start low. Like instead of trying to just run one line solid, take like a small liner, build it up, and go slow. Take your time. It's not a rush thing. I think maybe half of my critiques are to just go slower and just build instead of trying to get this nautical star tattoo done in 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's go slower. Just take your time. Yeah,
take your time and build it.
Be precise, right?
Yes, be precise. It's not a race.
If you're gonna have an apprentice or teach anybody anything, you have to be able to teach consistency first, and consistency is based on knowing what you're looking at. So you have to tattoo in small little steps and check and observe every centimeter that you're doing at a time. Mm-hmm. If you can do that and become consistent at doing that, that consistency turns into larger and larger and larger areas faster and faster and faster. And that's a huge step that everybody always just avoids or doesn't give a shit to think about. So for your first year, you're just trying to figure out how to become consistent to something.
Yeah.
Because it's just not fucking explained.
Yeah.
Not in this
When
industry.
I first started out, I used to practice that. I would break my drawings up into graph paper, like grid paper, and I would do every little square at a time. The reference picture, like if I was drawing a portrait, I would put the graph lines on it on Procreate, and then I would put my drawing on graph paper, and I would work on one little square at a time. Yeah, you're exactly right. I like that idea.
Nico did that stuff too when he started doing color portraits.
Oh man, Nico he's my idol, man. I love him.
It's good.
He's the nicest guy.
Here's one. So this person's trying to do a beveled star. There's no center lines on any of the bevels. So I'm saying if somebody's going to be doing something first, rather than trying to be an artist, find the subject matter that you're working off of, copy it directly. Don't focus on being an artist for the first 5 years of your tattoo experience. People aren't going to pay you for your art. You're not an artist. You're not an artist until you understand what the fuck you're doing, and that takes a lot of time. So if you're going to be doing something like this, figure it out. Just like Brian said, break it down into manageable pieces and go step by step. If you don't have your borders on a line dependent design established effectively, you're going to fucking fail. Simple.
Solid advice.
That's it.
Solid.
We can say with all this stuff, it's it's always going to come down to each individual person what they're going to do. But those would be like, I think those are 3 good fucking critiques.
Yeah.
Well, Brian did 2, so 4. You get 4 for the price of 3. You fuck. Anyways, no, it's bad. All of us have been there. I was going to say there's a phenomenon I've been talking to with Season recently. I think we talked about this the other day, Brian, where like when you first start tattooing, there's so much going on. You're focusing on so much that you actually stop paying attention to what you're tattooing. Your eyes blank out and you're just kind of running by feel at that time. Like you're not fully aware and present of stuff. And it takes time to notice that's happening. You have to be constantly aware and watching what the fuck is going on. Make sure your eyes don't get tired. Like we have the eye exercises that we tell everyone to do is, every hour you got to take a break, go outside, look at something as far away as you can see, somewhere half that distance back, and then look at your hand up close and do that like 10, 15 times. It'll help the eye muscles relax and help open up that stuff so that you can like focus again. And if you're sitting here, especially when you're new, fuck man, it takes forever to do shit. You gotta relax your fucking eyes every once in a while. Anyways, yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Have you ever been concentrating so much that a tear just comes out of your eye for no reason?
Yeah, I've gone blind. Yeah, I've gone blind. I had migraines so bad, my entire vision became artifacts, like little small colorful triangles and rainbow patterns and stuff. And it just slowly went into I had this little tunnel vision space.
People pay for that, bro.
Fuck. That was, I was like, is this an acid flashback? And I see my optometrist. He's like, no, you have an eye grain. And I'm like, what? He's like, you have an ocular migraine. I'm like, fuck. He's like, what do you do? I'm like, tattooing. He's like, well, that makes sense. Okay, thanks, Doc.
I do this. I take a step back probably every 5 minutes while I'm tattooing. I must look like a crazy madman, but about every 5 minutes, I roll the chair back.
Yeah.
And you guys do that too?
No, I get up, move. No.
If I stay in it too long, I'll lose the overall big picture.
You get fucking pigeonholed. You fall into that little thing. It's like, this isn't right. And then you just fucking obsess over it. Yeah.
It used to lead me to overworking too.
Yeah.
It used to be a real problem. That's why I have to take a step back every about 5 minutes. And
how long did it take you to learn that?
5 years. If you look at my first 5 years worth of work, which is not great, you can see what I was doing wrong.
Oh yeah, dude. All of us are like that. Fuck.
But my therapist actually told me to do that. Yeah. My therapist was like, I was like, I know what I need to do, but the outcome is just not happening. And she was like, dude, just take a step back every 5 minutes. And I've been doing that ever since. I've been doing that for a long time now.
Yeah. All tattooers have some degree of OCD. Like straight up. You have to, right?
You have to.
Yeah. Brian's pumpkins. I mean, it's just like the most OCD artist I've ever met in my entire fucking life. He's like, I'm going to give it a go. He carves out this fucking just amazing thing. It's these crazy ideas.
That's what I love, though.
I'm like, what the fuck? That's perfect. He's like, nah, it's not. Like, it's perfect because I couldn't do it. So therefore the bar is way out of reach. I'm just like, fuck. Now he's like looking at some professional pumpkin carvers being like, man, that's better than mine. I can fucking, I'll get him one day. Fucking rock and roll. Fucking.
How are you going to do it? Life's too short to not be competitive.
That's cool. Well, why don't we go back to
Oh man, I almost threw up. Holy shit. You got to warn me before you throw that back up there, dude.
Go back to the first picture of the same fella. And we got this burb. And identifying it here, there is, I mean, throughout the tattoo, there's massive amounts of scar tissue. Massive. You can see down here, if I zoom in, you see chop marks from mag, right?
Yeah.
Fluttered, left skin, oversaturated, you know. Line work is all blown out. It's way oversaturated. I shouldn't say blowout, it's leaky as fuck. And then the center part of this bird is just something else. It looks like it got burnt with a blowtorch.
It looks like there's another baby bird trying to escape out of it.
That's rough. And I think
rough.
what did we come up with last time, Brian, when we were looking at this? What did we identify?
Well, so like the big issues here are like where he's got darks, the skin's a lot better, obviously, than where he's using light colors, the lime green, this super bright sky blue, etc. So he's just running into that issue of overworking because he's not understanding that he's already met his max there, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're working with lighter colors, especially starting off, they bleed or weep a lot more than darker colors. So when newbies see that, they don't understand that it's already been successfully tattooed. So then they'll just go again and go again and go again until they're convinced that they've got the ink there in the skin.
Yeah.
And realistically, that's probably what this guy is doing.
It's just way overworked. Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Lime green. You remember like the first time you ever used lime green?
It was about the same result as that.
You put it in and you see it and you know that it's there, and then it starts to weep. And then as you're doing stuff, you go, I can't see it anymore. You start to panic. What was that? I think it was it Intense, that their lime green, like way back there, the Millennium shit, like back in early aughts. And then it's just like you put it in and it would look just like chewed hamburger, but if you left it the fuck alone, it would heal bright as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those tricks that those light inks play. You're exactly right. You can't see it. You have to believe it's there.
Yeah.
You know?
Have faith,
it's almost like Jesus. You don't see it, but you know it's there. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And you just got to leave it alone. So if I were to give this guy a piece of advice, I had this rule when this happened to me. Actually an old school tattoo artist. I can't remember his name right now, but he told me, set it and forget it when it comes to lighter inks. So, you're going to run your patch of lime green or whatever, and then forget it, move on to something else, and come back later when it starts to show up, because it needs time to settle. And if you keep constantly working and you get pigeonholed, like I used to get, you get pigeonholed on it, like, oh, there's not some in this area. Oh, there's not some lime green in this area. You do exactly what Brian was talking about. You just keep pounding that shit in there. And then this is what happens. Then you've gone too far into the deep end. Yeah. So just set it and forget it and come back to it in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's good fucking advice. Yeah. And we should note with this stuff, if you're going to have a light tone color, what you're going to want to do with any of the pigments that you're looking at is check, they're going to be a tint value range where they're going to have a base tone. They're going to be adding white to it one way or another type of color that may be predispersed, mixed with white, that's going to scale up that volume of that tint, make it look brighter. So the more white, if it was going to be zinc oxide or TiO2 or barium sulfate or whatever else they're going to be putting in there, if you have high quantities of that stuff, it's going to take a while for the skin to just calm down and allow enough light in once that pooling happens, so it can reflect and refract off of everything in there and come back out and you can actually see it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I used to do early on was you do one pass with whatever color you're using, then just throw a paper towel over it and spray it with some cold ass water. Yeah. Give it like 2 minutes and then take that back off. Generally, you'll be able to see what's there and not there.
Yeah.
Also, great advice. Great advice. I never thought about that.
We do the science behind it. Use cold water, causes constriction, right? It's like icing a sports injury or something. It's going to decrease the volume of actual exudate that's going to be exiting the wound that you've just created. It's a super cheap and effective way. That's fucking awesome. You don't want to pull out ice and put it on there. Don't do that. That's fucking stupid. The cold water stuff is great, man. Yeah, keep a squirt bottle in the fridge. Don't fucking do that, you psychopaths. No, just room temperature water is fine. It's 20 degrees colder on average than what your fucking body is. Yeah, good fucking advice. There you go. Mike Scott. Yeah, Mr. Mike. There you go. You
Mike Scott is Mike Scott. Why does that sound familiar?
Isn't that the dude from The Office?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Isn't his name Mike? Is this guy trying to play a trick on us? Or?
I've never seen The Office. Is it good?
Pretty good.
The British one's better, version you watch. Right.
Yeah, there's a British version with that one guy. I forget his name. He's pretty popular now too. That's pretty good. The American version is good if you're really stoned.
The problem is it was a British comedy, and British comedy is so dry and well executed. Once they switched it to American and they were like, aha, we have to make it American, then it's like incredibly misogynistic and stupid. Like it took a weird turn.
Yeah.
So the American version is way more awkward than the actual British version.
Yeah.
It's really strange. Either way, watch them both.
Watch them both. There you go. The two dudes stamp of approval. Don't fuck my Stephen Carell or whatever his name is. I guess that's good. We'll stop now for our commercial break. Well, thanks, dude. Thanks for coming on. It was cool.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here with you both.
Yeah, dude. And like keep it up, man. Like the stuff that you're saying and stuff, like it seems like you know what the fuck you're talking about, you know? That's fucking cool.
It's been a long, hard journey, like I said before, but man, I'm so happy that I am where I am now here in Long Beach, just doing art for a living and getting to talk to cool people like you guys, man.
Yeah, man. Fucking A, dude.
Nice.
Thanks for coming on. I'll kick you off now. We're gonna I'll send you a copy of this if you want to. I think I'm gonna try to get it out before release and stuff. If you want to check it over and make sure you said something or whatever, or if you're good,
I'm completely good, dude. You guys, I don't worry about that. I'm not popular enough to be worried about
that. Right on, dude. Well, thanks for coming on, dude.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Ryan, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
Have a good one, man.
Oop. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
I like it when somebody comes on and just talks like heavy shit. Yeah, this is fucking good, man. I was thinking that we could do that. Everyone has like a call in, oh, we'll listen to your messages. Like we have those things and shit too, right? And I was like, well, fuck, why don't we just like have the fucking open invitation? Come on in. Join the round table of our awesome show.
I think it's cool. Plus, it was more like foreboding in this regard because, like, oh, you want to talk shit? Come on the show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I said. It's fine, you know. He's like, yeah, and his I know his whole argument was like, if he would have taken more time, that could have been way cooler. I know it, right? It just seemed disappointing to him. Like you said, it was so average, it bothered him. I thought that was fucking
great. It's an anchor.
It was a piece of flash. It was literally a Pinterest piece of flash brought in. I'm like, do you want changes? He goes, nope. All right, perfect. It took me like fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like, what the fuck else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Brooke was having a thing like that and trying like really hard to figure out this anchor cover up thing, and I was like, Brooke, for fuck's sake. And I just drew it for her. It took like 2 minutes. I was like, it's an anchor, it's there, it's done. Move on with your day. Draw something else.
Yeah, don't stress so much, right? I think that's another thing that we lack in the industry, right? Is forethought and afterthought. You know, like we dump so much time and effort into something trying to make it as best as possible, but then like we're never thinking about what the tattoo is going to look like in 10 fucking years. It's like, this is going to be the best for social media right now. Like you'll never see anything better than this. And then you see it 3 months later, and it's a hot turd. Well, technique aside, there's just tattooing and then there's art. Anyways, I guess I actually speak further on that. That fucking puppy dog that you did this week is fucking phenomenal. It was great, dude. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It was great.
I got hit up immediately right afterwards for more pet portrait tattoos.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Your approach to the fur was brilliant. It was just brilliant. You know, if you would have went and put in all that color detail and stuff 10 years from now, it would look exactly like how you did it. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it kills me to see people trying so hard to get every single little fucking hair tattooed into something. And like, one, tattoo ink expands over time. That's gonna look like dog shit later on. But two, so like if you were to really sit and contemplate the idea of like, I guess two things here. Like when you look at your dog, you don't see every single fucking hair.
Yep.
You know, you see the color of your dog or shapes and bodies of color when you're looking at something. You don't see every microscopic little stupid fucking hair on their head. So don't tattoo it. Don't paint it like that. Don't tattoo it like that. Don't draw it like that.
Wow.
But two, realistically, if you're sitting there with like you got like your three liner out and you're just tattooing every individual little hair there, you know, like one, you're missing so much because now you're like trying to focus so much on such small little stupid shit. And you're probably going to end up actually not putting enough tattooing in the skin to where that shit holds up later on over time. And then two, you're probably overworking the shit out of that tattoo, just trying to get all this excessive detail into it. Like, calm the fuck down, kids.
Yeah, it's at scale, right? If you're going to try to do a miniature portrait that'll fit in the palm of your hand and you're putting in fur detail, it doesn't make any fucking sense. You got a full back, you can go ahead and give her a shot, but still, don't get into the minutia, you know? It doesn't make any sense.
And that corgi tattoo is only 6 inches tall. That's fucking not big.
Yeah, fucking Parmesan. That's fucking great. It's just, it made me happy to look at it. That fucking dog. And I love with you, especially like the first rule of portraiture and fine art, if you're going to be doing it, is the detail has to be on a focal point, right? And those eyes and those glasses you slayed on, those are such good, high detail, very focused things that you can put the time into. And it pushes the viewer's eyes right into that face. It's awesome. Really well done.
Yeah, she took the picture of her dog and then posted it on Facebook, and I was like, that would be such a killer tattoo. I was like, just like position the caricature of it, etc. I was like, we just gotta tattoo it.
Did up the drawing, sent it off. Cold calling. That's cold call sale. That's fucking awesome, dude. This picture's so good, I want to do a tattoo of it, but you got to pay me. Produce it and I'll seduce it. That's fucking great, dude. Oh, anything else cool happened this week?
Don't remember. I went to a new cigar lounge in town. It was pretty fucking rad.
That's cool.
Yeah, they just opened up like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Super modern. You walk in, it feels more like it would be a Starbucks than a cigar lounge.
Oh,
but they have like this really amazing collection of small crafter cigars, essentially. So they're not like huge popular known brands. They're like smaller, still like hand rolled and handmade
artisan
style cigars and shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Super good.
That's cool. They have like the leather chairs, wingbacks or otherwise. You can sit there and have some fucking scotch and smoke a cigar, or was it just the purchase place?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's fucking.
Now you get to hang out, smoke it, shoot the shit, etc. It's a pretty sweet little spot.
Feel fucking classy, right for an Irish boy. Ooh. That's cool, man. What happened to my end this week? I didn't do much. I had to take Thursday off because I had a big cancellation. So I just like kind of moved some stuff around. And Friday I went up. I got a chance to start finishing up some artwork. I'm gonna send you over a copy of it actually afterwards here, of that Sandman tattoo. Remember I was talking to you about before?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, actually I'll send it to you right now. Share my fucking screen so you can see this fucking silly crap. I gotta finish it up. It's definitely a Sandman. Get a little fucking skull thingy, whatever the fuck she said it is. Copper blend off on the mask. A little bit of etching. She wants it more realistic. So this is like the first draft. I got to finish it up and actually make it look cool. But
all right,
yeah,
this is taking such a wild left turn.
Yeah, dude. I thought it was going to be somewhat relatively neo-trad, and then we went to a more traditional look, and then we went super realistic, and then I did painterly. I did 50 iterations of this tattoo until we settled on this. 50.
Nice.
Just, it's all right. It's pretty simple. I like the first one I did more, the painterly one with the fucking gold accents, the green, and
That's how it always goes. Because that first one is when you're like the most like enthralled on the idea. You're just like, hell yes, and then you give it your all, and then it gets shot down. They're just like, no.
I think I spent like 15 hours fucking doing that digital painting, and I was super excited about it. I thought it was fucking awesome, you know. And then it just kept getting hard nosed coming back, and we settled on this one on the Saturday night. We came in, we were supposed to do the tattoo, and I showed her what I had, and she's like, I don't fucking like it. I was like, fuck. So we sat down and worked through this for a couple hours, and I had her just there, and she's like, do this and change this and blah blah blah, and that's what we ended up with. She's cool with it. And then I finished up a sleeve with the last setting on. Remember I told you about this, I think like last year. I was doing these super drawn out tattoos where like I'll go and I'll do the soft tones that I want to see soft like 5 years from now first.
Right.
And I'll do like some line work, and I'll do like midtones, and then, you know, at the end of it, we'll do the highlights in the black. We did the final line work and highlights on this tattoo 18 months after we started, and it looks fucking rad. Let it heal up. Yeah, 3 weeks from now, I'll grab a nice healed picture of it, you know, healed, air quote, healed, and get it done. It's fucking cool, man. It worked. The hypothesis.
We just like, I'm gonna send you some YouTube videos on like just to take a picture with your phone. This shit fucking kills me. Every time I look at your Instagram, I'm like, this guy works his ass off and then decides to just throw it away when it boils down to taking a picture. Like, you got some pictures where your client's basically completely out of the fucking panel. they're not even in it. Some of your pictures are just blurry as fuck. Like you were just walking by and you're like, oh wait,
click,
trying to snap a picture.
Yeah. That's my downfall, right? Because I know how to tattoo. Like if I actually take the time to do something, the tattoos look fucking rad, you know? Wow, I did such a good tattoo. And then maybe this is where that panic comes in afterwards. I'm like, I don't know how to tattoo imposter syndrome. Because I'll look back on my pictures. I'm like, whoa, it must have been having a bad day then. They'll come back into the shop later and I'll see the tattoo. I'm like, wow, that's way better than I thought it would be. And they're like, huh? I thought you took a picture. I'll show them the picture. They're like, that's a really fucking bad picture. Oops. Did you post it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got a joke for you. Did I tell you the hamster and TSA joke before?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember us talking about a hamster.
Yeah. Okay, I'll skip that one. I've been writing some prompts for new jokes. Let me pull up this prompt here. So it's thinking about just things that I thought would be funny, you know? And it was weird because I started telling these to people and no one thought it was funny. But a couple of them were fucking fantastic, right? So actually, yeah, have you heard about this one? They're in the news right now. There's a dude, he's a chess champion. His name is Hans Niemann, and he has been accused of cheating by the world's grandmaster Magnus Carlsen. Have you heard about this?
I think I skimmed over it.
Yeah. So the initial complaint was that this guy was cheating online, which they said yes, of course. We've validated that he has cheated many a times, but Magnus Carlsen lost to him in one match, and he said that he was cheating face to face. Like, how could you do that? Like, we were sitting here and there's cameras on him, and he said he had anal beads up his keister that vibrated that told him where to move the pieces. And I thought that was kind of ridiculous, personally. Like, I mean, one, if you have something sitting on your keister, you'd probably be, sitting a little bit crooked or, adjusting a little bit, this and that. The vibrations every time they went off. I mean, if you've seen him fucking jumping, every time, you'd be like, oh, the guy's cheating. He's got something up his ass. So I think it's fake, right? Because, like, you could tell a dude was cheating if he had a fleshlight, right? Just like stuck on him when he was sitting there and he's just like, ah! That would be easy to determine, right? And so I was thinking about other sex toys that you could use in this entire setup. And I think with every single one of them, I don't think that you could utilize it in chess.
Ooh. Okay, so the guy that's accusing him of cheating is the one that came up with the anal bead scenario?
Yeah.
Like, why is that your first go-to? Like, he couldn't have been wearing a toe ring that vibrated?
Yeah, something, right? No, they have them. I think that they might have them fucking stripped down to their skivvies before they come out because it's fucking chess. Chess is war. They're going to come out and fucking make war. We don't want to have any hidden weapons.
Makes no sense. I don't. This is why I skimmed over it, because like it's chess. Who gives a fuck?
So in saying that as well, there's a prompt. Have you ever loved someone so much you wanted to super glue your genitals into or on theirs?
I'm really worried about where you spend your time on the internet.
Your face was fucking awesome, dude. Okay, last one, right? Oprah in Guantanamo Bay as a torture person. I just think that's funny. What if Oprah was an interrogator?
I don't think she'd have the stomach for it.
Guantanamo Bay. But what if she did? What I bet, man, she might be just a ballsy chick. You don't know. She'd just be like, yeah, fuck, let's do this, right? She'd clit up, let's go. And she just fucking walks in there and is like, hi, look under your seat. Pull out some fucking electrodes. You get an electrode. You just fucking light that guy up. I bet you she could get confessions faster than anyone else. Ayo.
All right.
We will never do this skit again. This is where my brain has been going, dude. I sat down one night, like 2 or 3 months ago, maybe it was earlier in the year with season, and I was just like stream of consciousness, just writing down random 1-sentence fucking things. And I think in an hour, I wrote down like 300 things. And she was like, Jesus Christ, how does your brain work like this? I'm like, I have no fucking clue. But it was pretty funny. I have a lot of them too. It's weird.
I think they call that ADHD.
I don't have ADHD though, dude. I don't. I don't. If they give me the speed drugs, it makes me just fucking, even weirder. I'm just like this. That's why border collie is my spirit animal, right? I'm like a herding dog. I'm just like, yeah, if I don't run enough, I get fucking weird, which is where we're at now. I've lost a lot of weight. Not enough though. Here's one for you. I was making a video before we started the talk today, and my prompt is why you shouldn't create washes when using color pigments.
I think it depends on the scenario that you're working in. So, like, technically speaking, we very rarely use a wash of a color.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it right, you can get really cool effects out of it. You just can't use it for the scenarios where you would assume that you would use that. Like if you're going to do a watercolor tattoo, you'd obviously use full saturated color.
Yep.
And you just learn to blend into skin tone with full saturated color.
Yeah, dude.
But there's some pretty neat little tricks that you can do with color washes. I'm not going to sit here and elaborate on that, but it is useful.
Really cool stuff. Blending in skin is a very real thing. And if you don't know how to blend in skin, there's a fucking tidbit for people if they don't know what the fuck we're talking about. They'll be like, wait, hang on. Why haven't you told me? That's what this show is about, you fucks. Yeah, because fuck you. That's like an advanced tattoo technique. You fucking make a seminar about that. Send us $500 in a self-addressed stamped envelope to P.O. Box Get Fucked, Portland, Oregon, 97005.
I am doing a seminar coming up pretty quick here.
Nice. Are you recording it?
I was thinking about it. Should I just set up a camera and record this thing? It's just going to be a fiasco of me over explaining shit, essentially.
Do it. We'll put it up on the website and we can fucking sell it off, make some money off that shit.
Yeah, I have pretty much everything set up. I have a whole PowerPoint presentation.
Nice.
I love my PowerPoint program that I'm using because the PowerPoint in and of itself is completely interactive. So I can go on a slide, trace over it, mock shit up, write on it if I want to, and then just continue on to the next slide, etc. So I have this all done. We got a projector where we'll be projecting it like fucking huge on the wall in the shop, etc., etc. It's gonna be fun.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Hell yeah, you should do that.
Yeah.
I should start shopping around myself. I found out that I give away so much information for free. People don't ask me for seminars. Like, I'll just read your website. I might not get fucked. Maybe I should just bring this all in-house. Shut everything down. Get rid of everything. Keep the podcast. Just do tattoos. And people can ask us and then we can make money off of it. Saying that, if you've listened to this long,
probably a good idea.
We have a buy me a coffee link that's going to be in the show description. If you like the show, support us. Give us cash, you fucks. This shit is expensive.
The term is starving artist.
Starving artist. I got we haven't been paid yet for our sponsorship from fucking Ink Master, right? I don't think the show's doing well because they got an email from the showrunners and they're like, hey, can we discuss some added value? This is stuff that we'll give away for free. And I'm like, no. They're not gonna release payment until fucking December.
That's bizarre.
I know, dude. I don't fucking
I actually just watched episode 1 of the new season of Ink Master this morning.
How was it?
And it's not good.
No. Oh God.
One, I don't know if it was planned or something, but Gian, one of the tattoo artists on the show, he obviously lost to Ryan Ashley, but I think they just brought him on for that.
Yeah.
But he's dressed and looks like Oliver Peck.
What?
And I don't know if it was done intentional or if he did it as like a joke or something, but he just looks like Oliver Peck.
That's so weird.
It was really cracking me up.
The dude who got the show canceled the first time, I want to go on as a shout out in solidarity to him. It's fucking weird. Well,
yeah, it was really bizarre, but at the same time, I was like, if he's doing this as a joke, then like,
fucking
awesome.
Right
that's
on.
Hilarious.
If it was unintentional, that's weak. Is there anyone good on there? Or is it just the same dredges? They got 3 good people and everyone else is shit.
I would say that they are all at best average. Like, even half the winners that have ever won this shit, in my opinion, are just average tattoo artists. So, like, they're all at best average. They're doing good tattoos,
Yeah.
What's more interesting this time around is that, like, now instead of judging specifically based on technique or like pretending to, they're judging it more like artistically, like what they could have done better design or artistic wise.
Oh, they've leaned completely away from tattooing as a trade and leaned hard into it just being a canvas, like really canvasizing.
Yeah. So,
shit.
like, once again, this is just episode 1. But so the general takeaway so far on episode 1 is, what the fuck are they doing?
All right, you can catch them on Paramount Plus exclusively, and this is free ad. I wouldn't probably recommend it, just based on Brian's recommendation.
I mean, any show for just entertainment value, I've watched almost every season of Ink Master purely for the entertainment.
Oh, the drama.
Like, the worse the tattoo is, the more hilarious that shit is.
Gotcha.
Because, like, 1, you're on national television. You're going to do tattoos that bad? That's fucking awesome. 2, anybody that's taking this show seriously just needs to pull their head out of the cloud, right? Like, none of this shit really fucking matters.
No.
Like, the judging on these tattoos is absolute bullshit. And it always will be. The only time you can, like, take the judging technically serious is, like, they have Ami James on there. Ami James has been a Japanese tattoo artist for fucking countless years, so when he's like, this isn't technically traditional Japanese because it doesn't follow this and this rule, like, that's some of the shit that you can actually take serious because he actually knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
But when they're like, I don't know, this tattoo just isn't purpley enough for me, like, you don't have to take that shit serious. That's ridiculous.
Needs more purple. Like, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I know a bunch of people who've been on there, and I'm just like, how was it? And they're like, oh man, they really try to hype up the drama. They want you fucking fighting.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, that's funny. I wonder if we could maybe we can make a pitch to Paramount, and we can have you ever seen Nailed It, the baking show where they make the cakes?
Right.
Yeah, let's do that with tattoos.
Tattoo Nailed It.
Take fucking 3 at-home tattooers for a chance to win $50,000. TM. You motherfuckers can't take that shit. I would fucking go with it. That's so awful. So now we're in science mode. We actually had a good question come in. It came in a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I already read this to you or not. It said, I saw from David, I saw someone say that you could open up the skin to pack more black and effectively by going over it with a light wash first. Have you ever heard anything about
Oh
this?
my God. Okay. There's a tattoo artist, and I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah.
But if he hears this, he'll know who he is. A friend of mine was chatting this guy up one day, and he does black and gray tattoos. And he's like, the big secret is that I just grind over top of the entire tattoo surface real quick with water or a white wash, right? So you just go over the whole goddamn thing, and then you do the tattoo. Like, so you just fuck the whole skin surface up first, and then you spend hours tattooing over top of it. That's insane.
Yeah.
But there are people that believe that this actually works better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. I wrote a response to this stuff, but I'm glad that you think that it's just as nutty as possible, right? Because was the easiest thing, right? If you go over the skin with needles, you're creating trauma. So you're already at a state where the skin is damaged. Now, because you're stimulating the immune system, it could be, if you did not increase the trauma at any more or any greater amount, that if you went over it and you saturated stuff, there'd be more immune cells there that could possibly hold on to more pigment and make it appear more saturated. But every time you go over the fucking skin, you're chewing it up more. So there's going to be a diminishing return on this stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't, like, we've never seen Japanese tattooers sitting there with fucking Irizumi just doing a dry run over a sleeve before they get started, you know?
You know what works the best? Doing it right the first time. That's just...
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I think once again, getting back into the same redundant fucking shit over and over and over again. So many tattoo artists are out there running their machines so fast that I think they're having issues with saturation and shading and shit like that because they're running their machines, these stupid ass rotary pens, way too fast. They're not actually giving the needles time to do what they're supposed to be doing. Right. So you have this needle that's moving so quick that it really can't do what you're expecting it to do. If people just slowed their shit down, right? Like, if you're having issues with black saturation, which is the easiest fucking thing on the planet,
thing to do,
then chances are you just need to slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
Well, you can accidentally give yourself a full black sleeve if you're not careful. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Once again, I think we said this on the last show. Like, if you see people taking black ink and just pouring it onto the arm and using 130 grouping and rubbing, it's just, they're not doing anything. It's just a show. This is media literacy. Like, not everything you see on TV or in Technicolor is fucking real, right? Like, there's just a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And this, if you're trying to just go in and do this and you don't know what you're doing, like, I mean, there's probably a chance that you could still pull off solid black saturation if you did something like this, if you know how to tattoo. But you're always going to be increasing the chances of scarring, rejection, transport into the fucking lymph nodes and stuff if you're just fucking up the body. And that's the other thing too, right? If you stimulate the immune system, there's going to be a greater propensity of any pigment that's being added to the skin that's going to be pulled in. You're not letting it have a chance to just settle and just stay there. When the body starts remodeling, the immune system takes a little while to get there as well. You're going to give it a chance to stick.
It's gonna swell more. It's gonna be far more irritated. There's so many stupid things that are gonna happen just because of that decision process.
Yeah.
Let me just fuck your skin really quick and then tattoo over it. I'm like, God, common sense, guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, do that shit to yourself. Like, grab your shin bone there, just run over it with some water, and then pack some color over top of it.
Yeah.
Just do it to yourself. See if it fucking works. See if it feels like shit. I guarantee it will.
Oh, here's one. There's an article that came out. Maybe we should put it up on the Facebook group or not. There's an article that came out that said, and it had studied how pain actually can modulate and affect the immune system directly. Like, they actually found like specific things inside the body that react to pain, and how pain is actually a really good thing. Evolutionarily, pain has been really good at keeping us alive, right? Because it's the body saying, hey, pay attention to me. There's something fucking wrong. So when you're getting into stuff like this and you're already creating pain, you're going into it, you're overworking it, adding more black, fucking whipping and building all this shit out. Eventually, like, person's not gonna be able to sit as well, and it's gonna fuck shit up. There's a threshold. It's like an economic fucking analysis, right? I would like do like a Degeneration X fucking do a WWE fucking poll. Anyways, seeing this stuff, well, what it also was saying is that the use of these numbing creams can artificially modulate the immune response inside the body. So if your body actually doesn't know that there's pain because those pain receptors have been blocked, it can fuck with stuff. And it can like change healing, and it's actually like they're actually doing the work now to prove why. Like we've known, like of course it's just fucking common sense that would be like that, but they're actually proving it now, and they're learning how to fuck with stuff. That was fun.
People, okay, like this is gonna get really far out there.
Right on, man.
The human body is essentially a computer, right? We have electrical impulses and signals that fly through, back and forth, etc., all over our body constantly, every single day, right? So obviously, the way that this works best is without fucking with or tampering with the system, right? So, like,
yeah.
The best way that your tattoo is going to work is to just do the tattoo the right way. Let that shit hurt because one, it's just good for you. Okay, feel some bullshit every once in a while. It's good for you. It's good for you mentally.
Oh.
But obviously, that's going to send a signal. That signal goes to the brain. The brain sends a signal back to all these other little cellular structures that are going around, right? All these weird little creatures that live inside your body. They're going to do their job because they know what to do, right? Because they got the signal. If we're fucking with these things, then obviously shit's going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
You're just blocking the mailman and he can't do his fucking job.
Yeah. I think like
that's stupid.
Opiates and stuff, right? Like it forces people's bodies to adapt to this, this pain fighting thing, but also fucks with their immune system. It can fuck with a bunch of shit. That's why you get sick all the time if you're a fucking drug addict and shit,
Right.
Fucking with your body. You stop doing that, well, it's all right, Little doses, everything is fine. In moderation, things can be useful. It doesn't mean that they're good. Marijuana in moderation can be a useful thing for combating hunger in cancer patients who are going through chemotherapy and stuff like this. But if somebody's smoking 4 fucking blunts before they go to get chemo, it's probably not going to be a good idea, right? Moderation, people. Cocaine in small doses is great as a topical anesthetic. That's why we create synthetic versions of it, like Novocaine and shit like this, right? It fights pain. That's why if you do a big old line of fucking blow, you wipe your nose, you rub it on your gums, they go fucking numb. It's good in moderation. You're fucking cracking fucking 4 8-balls, and a night, there's a problem there. Oh,
it's just all of these things, man, especially when it boils down to tattooing. Like, God damn. The reason it worked so well, right? And we can go all the way back to the 1930s and 40s.
Oh.
The reason tattooing just worked well is it was a really simple process. They used really simple machines. Obviously, they didn't have the best fucking tattoo ink in the world. These psychopaths were using lead-based paint and shit while they were tattooing each other, but that shit still worked.
Yeah, we don't need to make things more complicated. I think as soon as we started throwing that artist label onto stuff, and people are putting art before, tattoo. And we started to remove that simplicity and started to make it a complex by becoming so opaque that no one knows what the fuck they're doing. Oh, it's fine. You can just go with feeling. No, there's a right way to do it. It's not hard.
Look, if you can,
it's not
if
hard.
You can like
fucking
saturate a 4-inch by 4-inch black square and have it heal black, then you can literally tattoo anything. That's how cool this is.
Oh, that was so fun. Dude, literally. Okay, I have a friend who was doing tattoos and she was having issues with the color and stuff, but she packed black. One of the best I've ever seen. Ever. I mean, solid single pass fucking with a mag, dude. And it's just perfect. Heels out flat. The best black. Her color was weak as fuck. I'm like, why don't you just do it like you're doing black ink? And she goes, well, it's not black ink. I'm like, try it. And she did it. And she was like, oh, man, get fucked. Because it was just perfect after that. It was like, it's not like you already know how to fucking tattoo.
What was she doing differently would be the better question.
Just, not committing it to skin, just like being gentle, like afraid of making mistakes, like wanting to make sure this, that, blah, blah, blah. So it's just topical insertion on that stuff. So a lot of it was falling out. I was looking weak.
I swear to God,
right? Blends, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, just fucking put it in this.
These people nowadays would probably think I was a fucking serial killer if they watched me tattoo. I just fucking slam that shit right in there.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Go one pass, solid red.
Yeah, you can tell. Throw
Right.
on an 11 mag and pray. This would be fun, you know? Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. I look back on like my career and stuff, and like when I first started learning how to use mags, because we didn't even have mags when I first started. They just like were starting to come into circulation around us. We had flats. When a mag came in, I remember I did like my first pass, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's gonna take you a while to learn how to use it. I'm like, what? This is bullshit. But it was because I just didn't fucking think that this is just needles on a stick. Like I just, as soon as I got that in my head, and I was just like, I'm just going to fuck this shit up, and it was perfect. I was like, oh, why didn't I just do that at the beginning? It's not like it's something special. Oh, fucking hell, Jesus Christ! I got this new technique I've been working on. I'm trying to think of new ways to lay stuff in. Right. So I got that pen style machine. Right. And it showed it to you, that fucking tiny one. It looks like a cosmetic one. It's fucking not. Maybe it is. And I just was a fucking idiot and bought a cosmetic
one. Kinds of weird shit. Like some of them are as skinny as like a big fucking click pen. It's really strange.
That's so weird, dude. Yeah. It's small. It hits like a fucking just a monster, but I can spin it and rotate it easier in my fingers now when I'm running lines. Just fucking weird, right? I'm just like, oh shit. My hand, dude, after switching from just coils over to that the first day, my wrist was fucking dead. I was like, death gripping the motherfucker out of this thing because it felt weird, right? And I'm just like, oh, just fucking beefing down on it. And I think about like 3/4 of the way through the day, I started to loosen up, and I was like, man, my fucking wrist is sore. But I just think I got a flat and putting it at a bevel in the skin, you know, just standard, so you can get that little nice gradient. I was taking it and I was pivoting it around an axis. These little like pyramids you can create when you do this. You just fucking take it, twist one way, twist the other way. So you get this like deep saturated edge. You got to move fast as fuck, right? And beveling off stuff. I did it with some bubbles. Center line, just fucking dug it into a side and fucking spun it around. Dude, perfect shapes on these bubbles. It was really fucking cool. I don't know if you ever do that. You ever sit there and fuck around with stuff and like think like, hey, do this weird hand motion. Is that shit gonna work?
That's what my legs are dedicated to. Just anytime I get a random thought, you know, it's just like, ha, okay. And then you just
gonna work.
Tear your leg up a little bit.
Yeah, dude. It was neat. I was trying to think about like all the tools that we have, because like when you think about painting, you have all these different brushes that do all these different effects, right? And everyone's like, painting and tattooing are synonymous. And I'm like, oh, well, get fucked. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I doubt it. I don't think so. But I was like, well, what if I tried to replicate these brushes and how they can work? And so I started trying to do them. And I found like 5 or 6 different like techniques I never thought of, but maybe everyone else knows this shit. And I was doing stuff. I'm like, fuck, this is kind of cool. Thinking like a painter, except scientist.
Like it only makes sense to think about our needle arrangements as paintbrushes, because like you have flats, filberts, cat tongues, points, liners, etc. This different array of paintbrush types, and we have an incredible array of tattoo needles. Yeah. Right? And they do correlate to each other, just not as perfectly as we would like them to, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of fucking around with your machine speed, depths, and stuff you have to do when you start fucking with all those things, trying to get different effects. And I used to be just like a set it and forget it. It's fucking 4.5 volts on a liner and just fucking go. And I was starting to find like different stuff in the past like year. I've been experimenting with it. It's been really interesting, like different effects, things like this. We were talking about stippling before, you know, like that very specific way of how you're doing it. And it just turns out perfect and consistent every time. It's fucking neat, you know, still going in there and just trying shit and seeing if it works out. And if it doesn't, you know how to fix it. This is all about critiques, right? So anyone has a critique on that thought, I get a bunch of angry emails, you know, fucking Tony.
There's just a lot of shit that like you don't really see much of anymore, or at least I don't know. Maybe it's because I work with younger people now, but like cornering your mag. You know, like
I never see anyone doing that anymore. Doesn't seem to
happen anymore. You know,
no.
Instead, they're just like, "Well, I bought round shaders." Like, okay, but you could have just used a mag.
Yeah, I see people with like 90 cartridges, especially. They'll have like 90 of them, just like different, all these different sizes and stuff like this. And I'm like, so you have a 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15 round. And then you have a 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 23 mag out for a palm size tattoo. But yes.
Right.
Like, Why don't you just use a 3 and a 9?
Yeah. So me and Brooke were doing a needle order a while back, and she's like, "What needle should I order?" Et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, all you need is a 3-liner, maybe a 5-liner, a 9-liner. Then you need a 9 mag, 13 mag. If you want to go bigger, get a 15, but it's probably not necessary.
That's not.
I'm like, that's it. That's like 5 needle groups, guys. That's all you fucking need to tattoo with.
Yeah, I have 3 and 5 liner. I have a loose 7, just for like blending shit. If I'm gonna have something that's super tight that I want to get into, and then I have a 9 mag and 11 mag. That's it. That's all I use.
Yeah, if you're buying every fucking single size, one, you're wasting so much money because you know for a fact when you open that drawer, there's boxes of needles that you've never touched.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, so just stop doing it. Just write that shit off. You know, you don't have to keep buying that shit anymore because you never use it. And if you do use it, it's just once every fucking blue moon where like you ran out of the one needle, so you're just going to this overstocked pile of bullshit that you have going there.
I used to do that all the time when I'd run out of fucking liner tubes, and I just like have a fucking flat tube, right? And I just turn it on the corner, so I just have like a fucking half diamond. And people are like, "Whoa, how are you doing that?" I'm like, it's a fucking tube. Add an extra band and go. Fuck it, right?
You just give that stuff. More of a bend to it, you know, and then throw another rubber band on. It'll be fine.
That's fucking fine. Crank up the voltage about 2 volts. You'd be sure can run fine, buddies. Ink flow might be a little rough, but it'll be all right. Oh golly, are you rounded mags only now? Do you ever use flats?
I've used round mags exclusively for like the last 10 years.
No shit, eh?
I have a couple of flats. Like I have a box with 13 flats and I have a box with 7 flats. And they're more specifically, if there's just like a super tight, weird little area that I know I'm going to need this thing for, then like, that's it. If I just can't simply do it with my 9 mag, then I have this 7 flat here. Or if somebody's got like some incredibly tough fucking skin, 7 flat.
Oh yeah, I love 7 flats. I still have a couple boxes of them. Or how about like rounded mags only, or do you do straight mags too?
Just curved mags.
Just curves? Yeah, that's cool. I bought a box of 9 round mag cartridges because I've always just used fucking flats. Maybe every once in a while I'll use like a 15 curve just because it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. So you know, your hand has to be so perfect every time you're using the fucking straights. Because if it's off just a little bit, you get the groove lines, right? Deep saturation one side. It's not, you get the overlap, just looks like choppy as shit. I spent so much time making it so I could get that shit smooth as fuck. I tossed in a rounded mag and I was like, let's see what the fuck happens. I was like powder smooth. I was like, God, get fucked. Like that's so easy. I just sat there and fucking wand shaded over something. I was like dusting the fucking desk off, right? And it was like perfectly smooth. I was like, this is so fucking stupid. There's no technique needed for this. It just made it smooth. I did an overlay on a blend. It's like fucking red and purple or something together, right? Like a dark red and fucking deep purple or something. Overlapping, like, oh, it didn't blend off quite right. You have that fucking rounded mag, and I was like, just fucking fanned it in a little bit. I was like, fucked. It's perfect. I was like, what the fuck is this? No wonder people's shit looks so good and so easy. They're using these cheater needles.
Cheater needles, nice. But yeah, no, I've used curved mags for probably exclusively for like 10 years, if not longer. Specifically from Needle Jig. Not to just drop brands and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sponsored, but they just make the best, in my opinion. If you like compare needles, right? Like actually hold them up and look at them. For some reason, Needle Jig's curved mags have more of a curve. It's really strange.
Oh, that's cool.
So they actually have more of a curve. They work better. They do smoother shit. So I just always go with those guys. Like everybody likes talking up Quadrant and all that shit. But like if you actually look at it, like Quadrant's cartridge tips, like the plastic is also curved.
Yeah, dude. I've noticed that. That's so weird.
And then the needles don't really have that drastic of a curve to them. Mm-hmm. So like it doesn't make sense to me. Whereas like if you actually look at Needle Jig's shit, like their mags are flat. The plastic's flat, but the needles are curved. So like when you're working off your tube, you're getting perfect smooth edges coming off of it. Like it just makes sense that way.
Yeah, the ink flow is not inhibited and coming out at uneven spaces. It just seems weird. You're dropping pigment before your actual needle's hitting with the fucking curved tips. That's fucking weird. You never did that. We always used to file them. Remember you Steelies? You fucking file that shit flat as hell. Get that burr off, give it a little bit of a little lip at the edge, make sure it's not too sharp so you're slicing skin and fucking give her. If I fucking ever curved a tip, I would have been punched in the throat.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre.
What are you doing? It's stupid. Yeah. Anyways, who's a good? Because now I got this rotary thing, and I think I'm gonna switch over, except for shit that I just need to use the fucking coil for because I don't know, it was weird. It was so much more consistent, I guess, in the actual throw. I wasn't having to do adapt and change stuff so much when I was running. I was like, this is actually kind of nice. I think I'm gonna run it for a little while and give it a good 3-6 months and see how shit works. But who makes good cartridges? Like, I don't know. I'm just buying stuff off of eBay.
It's always going to be preference, but like more specifically, I almost always exclusively, once again, order from Needle Jig.
Perfect.
That's just where my brand loyalty lies. At the moment, I have 2 boxes of quadrants that I'm trying to burn through. I was just out at the convention and didn't have my shit. Had to buy 2 boxes. The only needles they had apparently were fucking quadrant. Needle Jig is less of a price. Once again, their round mags are just better. There is a little bit of play in the cartridge, but if you're an anal retentive psychopath like me, I open the cartridges up and I thin my needles anyway. So once you do that, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Well, this show is sponsored by Needle Jig.
Yeah, apparently.
Writing them an email after this shit. Thanks, guys. This is our generic outro track. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Remember, please go give us a like, subscribe, review on any of the podcast players or platforms that you enjoy listening to us on. And thanks. Thanks for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again next week.